One of my favorite themes is emotional eating. After all, I'm an emotional eating expert. Now, I want to share with you why it happens and how to stop emotional eating. So often people are really into the stress eating cycle and they would like, obviously, to stop this emotional eating. And this is something I'm really passionate about. My name is Andrea Caprio, and today I want really to show you how you can overcome emotional eating, why it actually happens, because often when we gain an understanding, it's so much easier. And of course, I want also to show you a little bit how you can adapt that to your own life. Actually, I overcame stress eating myself, which made me become a nutrition coach, and I'm sharing a little bit more about that later on. Welcome. Now, I would love to share with you, of course, something I hear all the time, which is Jane, who decided to finally get her act together. And I want to share her story. But before I do that, remember to subscribe to this channel if you want to get notification. I put out videos usually weekly. And if you like this video, of course, please give me a thumbs up, and any questions, just put them in the comments. I get personally back to every comment. And if you think you can share this video with your friends, do so, because I think there's a lot of value about the things I'm going to share with you here. So Jane was actually somebody who went on yo-yo dieting her whole life, and usually it goes like she starts a diet, she feels really great, she restricts everything, she counts calories, she cuts out carbs or whatever it is depending on the diet. She really starts feeling great, and after some while she really feels not great anymore. She starts to get moody, she feels more stressed, she feels deprived, she is tired, and eventually, whenever something triggers, like maybe a party or some stress event or something, she usually goes off and the diet is history, right? Now I'm asking you, do you have these kind of issues, right? That you go on a diet, everything seems great, and after a week, 2 weeks, maybe a bit longer, everything goes upside down, or maybe even after some while, right? So that is really something that I see very often with clients with Jane, and usually, the family gets kind of fed up because they say, oh, you're again on a diet or whatever, or you were always restricting or not wanting to eat that. And it's called a stress eating cycle. And this is really what most people struggle with to get out. And if you are somebody, maybe you have been there. So stories like the one of Jane is really something I hear almost daily when people, are inquiring maybe to work with me, or, I see online something. So how to stop emotional eating related to low mood is actually something I want to explore today with you. Because in the end, I see so many people that are the emotional eaters, the stress eaters, and whenever they go on a diet, they get into the low mood, and then usually they try to change that with eating more, right? And I want you to get out of this and really get help. So first of all, maybe to understand that we have really a lot of people that are struggling with anxiety disorders or low mood. So there's about 9% of Americans that really struggle with mood disorders, and 11% who have anxiety disorders. So it's really a lot. But what causes this low mood? So in general, I see that very often happening, and of course, research also found out it's stress at work, stress at home, commutes, or some other, heavy duty or so, doing more in less time, feeling the pressure, the fatigue, eating unhealthy foods, and so on. But foods is actually something that contributes so much to low mood. It's, in fact, people are aware, or let's say if you make people aware, right, they realize that a lot of food actually contributes to the low mood. And that leads very often to a cycle, right? So we get low in mood, we eat the wrong foods to kind of pick us up, and that obviously leads to this vicious cycle of yo-yo dieting and really not working. So what does food have to do with mood, actually? You might ask, right? Because it's a little bit difficult to understand. Now, first of all, there is the gut-brain axis you might have heard of. So the gut is really linked to the brain, and it's a bidirectional axis. And by the way, check out my other videos. I have done a lot of brain chemistry. I've done recently a really great video if you're interested, and also there in the description you can find some other videos that are relevant here. But you definitely want to find out a little bit more, or get an understanding on how that is. So the nutrients of the food provide things like, for example, amino acids, right? And amino acids is, by the way, one of the most important parts of your mood, okay? The amino acids have an effect on the neurotransmitters. And again, I speak in my other videos, so if you're interested, please check out my other videos. Remember to subscribe, because I often bring this up. And these neurotransmitters are obviously some of the messengers of your emotions, right? And obviously it relates to your mood. So when you have amino acids, you actually can enhance those neurotransmitters, which then give more nutrients to the brain, and that helps with your mood, basically. So it's obviously not the only one, but it's a big one, right? Things like exercise as well play a role, but food is probably the most important. Low blood sugar also affects mood, right? So when you are having low blood sugar, then usually the mood goes down as well. And that's, again, usually when we eat to bring our mood up. And I see that one of the biggest problems as well with clients. And that is, by the way, something I felt myself in the past, right? Where I was constantly getting low, eating, some sugary, and remember, carbs is sugar. So like starchy carbs, sorry, things like pizza, pasta, bread, and so on, cookies, all this, is all with sugar. So often we have, our blood sugar goes down, we experience craving, so we get that lift, and then it goes down, we need another lift, and so on. And that is a constant vicious cycle, of course, and leads, just being nervous, irritable, inattentive, and we just eat more, right? And so we need to get out of that, and often that is really something that people need help with. So how do you stop this emotional eating, right? This cycle, vicious cycle, and how do you actually improve your mood? So I will give you my 7 top tips, actually. So you want to take out, maybe stop this video or pause it rather. You want to get out maybe something to write it down, because these are tips I share with my clients. And remember, again, if you are interested, to get more tips like this regularly, I have normally a weekly video of also some shorts coming out regularly. So you can sign up and subscribe to this channel, and also give me please a like or share it with your friends. And any questions, please put them in the comments, or any suggestions as well. So the first tip is to avoid low blood sugar, right? So how do you do that, you might ask? So the biggest thing is, for me, that I found for myself and I share with my clients. And remember, we all are different. I don't know you, so you might want to check with your doctor. But on the other hand, many people work really well when they have 3 protein-rich meals, maybe some snacks additionally. I personally like my snacks, and that helps you normally to keep your your blood sugar stable. So I really emphasize protein and fat. I reduce carbohydrates, and I make sure I have enough fiber. You might want maybe to add some L-glutamine. That might help between meals or chromium. Again, these would be supplements, and you want to check that with your doctor if they're good for you. I don't know you. The next tip is, number 2, is eat breakfast. Now, important is what kind of breakfast. You want, in the beginning of the day, have more protein and fiber, and the carbs, you want to have them more at the end of the day, because they make you tired. So you want to have a low glycemic breakfast that is high in protein and high fiber foods. That helps you really with your blood sugar, and helps you also to reduce your appetite, actually, and your cravings, and takes you out of the stress cycle. That is probably the number 1. If you take your breakfast in the morning earlier, or maybe you're doing intermittent fasting and a little bit later, you might want to play around with. I personally like my morning. I know some people have it a little bit later, and that works for them, but you want to get it right. if you're doing intermittent fasting, and I'm not talking more about it, I'm sure that is in other videos or so, but you want definitely to make sure that you get the fasting time. It does not need to be a 16:8. It can be maybe a 14:10 or even a 12:12 or whatever it is. So you want to get that right. Tip number 3 is don't skip meals. I see that very often happening. People skipping meals, and that affects negatively their blood sugar. And then when the blood sugar gets too low is when they get overly hungry and they eat anything, right? And usually that's then when people eat the wrong things, or they wait until the next meal and then overeat at the next meal. So these things are really not great strategies. So make sure you really keep your eating schedule regularly, the times, the amounts, and everything for the day, and make sure that really helps you to keep your blood sugar stable. Next point is to avoid low-calorie dieting. I don't know how many people ask about calories and all that, but too low calories is really, again, something very damaging. One usually leads to feeling restricted, and then you go the other way, but also affects your blood sugar. So, and that is the biggest thing that then affects your mood, right? So the serotonin and the thyroid hormone can easily be affected when you eat too low calories. So you want definitely to make sure you keep that stable and not have too low calories. I don't know you, I don't know what calories you need, so I would even not start going there. I'm not huge on calorie counting, but a general idea is important. I see a lot of people who come and tell me, oh yeah, but I'm only eating 1,000 or 1,200 calories. Usually that's too low. So often working with my clients, we actually increase the calories when they're having too low calories, and that is just what's needed, right? Obviously improving the food as well, but that's something. With this, the low calorie is also the low fat. Oh my goodness. Again, I hear that all the time, and it has been like a fashionable thing a couple of years ago where, there was the whole low fat dieting or no fat or whatever it is. That's really a dangerous thing as well, because we need fat. So the body needs fat for mood, so the neurotransmitter need that, but also very often to absorb the nutrients we take, like the vitamins and so on, need fat for do that. We have some fat-soluble vitamins that we are having. So you want really to make sure you have not too much fat and you have healthy fats, but you definitely want to include that in your diet. And then the low protein is one of the other things that I see very often. And when people eat too low protein, they have too low energy. And again, I mentioned earlier already that might affect the mood. So you want definitely to make sure have enough protein. So if it's plant-based, and there's plenty of plant-based proteins, by the way, that's really great, or animal-based or a mix of both, which I usually recommend, that's something, make sure that's one of the biggest things for people to overcome low blood sugar, mood issues, and lose weight. That's really where I usually help people to get that right. And remember, amino acids, they are your natural antidepressants actually, and help with serotonin, norepinephrine, GABA, and so on. And then my last tip here is to exercise regularly. So walk 60 minutes 3 times a week, or I like really in the morning to get out in the sunlight as well. That's, by the way, another really great tip. But, just for a morning walk or so, this can really improve your serotonin level and your mood, of course, amazingly. So remember to subscribe to this channel if you want to have more tips, and like this video or share it with your friend. But I want also to share with you a really great resource. I have my Balanced Blood Sugar Guide, which is a free guide for you if you're interested to get like a kickstart on improving your mood. In this guide, you find plenty of tips. So you find some small little menus that you can put together. You get a link to my healthy smoothie builder, which is a really great breakfast that helps you to start your day off in good mood and to avoid emotional eating or stress eating. And there are a lot of tips in there, like, what you can avoid, what you can include, the foods you can include that help you with balanced blood sugar, and so on. The link is in the description, so check out the description also for more tips and some other videos. And if you want to ask any questions or get some more information, you find all that in the description. My name is Andrea Capria. I hope this has been helpful for you. And please ask any questions, or maybe, in the comments, just a thumbs up or so would be really appreciated. Thank you so much, and until next time.